This is a new video series. It's going to be about launching a new book on Amazon KDP. And this is a launching a book checklist that I have with all of the various stages that you will go through to launch a book. This is geared for beginners, for someone who has yet to launch a book, or for someone who has launched one or two and is just looking for an advanced strategy to take advantage of the whole process in order to get as much traffic and reviews as you can get when launching a book. So I'm going to go through the checklist a little bit at a time. This is more of a strategy video. It's not really a how-to because there are plenty of videos that talk about how to do any number of these individual things. But what's lacking from some of those videos is the actual strategy. So that's what this video is going to be about. So the checklist begins at finishing the proofread of your book. I went into that in another series, so I'm not even going to say much more about that. But once the book goes off to the editor, most editors take between 2 weeks and a month in order to complete their edit. If they're taking longer than that, you might need a new editor. But in any event, you're going to have 2 weeks to a month where you're going to be excited and anxious about launching this new book. So in this checklist are things that you can do while the book is still at the editors. So the first thing you're going to want to do is begin on your book cover. So I have on this checklist the Amazon KDP sizes that you'll need to make an ebook cover. Let's see, I also have a little information here about using Fiverr.com to create a book cover. Now, I just want to say that when I started to publish books on Amazon KDP, I was publishing on a shoestring. So you only have a certain amount of money, or all of us have a different level of budget that we can use in order to launch a book. So I decided that I want to spend my money on editing because that's usually a bit costly. And the other thing is on actual advertising. Everything else I have figured out how to do myself. And so that's my strategy of how to publish a book and not go into debt over it. Now, in the beginning, I did use Fiverr.com in order to create some book covers. And I was very happy with what they provided to me. So I'm just going to pause the video and pull up Fiverr to say one or two things about the strategy of using Fiverr. Okay, so I'm on the Fiverr website. It's Fiverr with 2Rs.com. And I used fantasy book covers as the keyword to search for. And all of these book cover creators came up. And underneath each one of these creators is their name. And then there's at least one deal that they are willing to do. And they put their cost at the bottom. Now, the other information that's very crucial is this information here. This person here has a 5.0 rating, which is the top. That's, it doesn't go any higher than that. And they have done 475 jobs. So that means that this person has delivered a satisfactory ebook cover to people that hired him or her. And that's a perfect score. Now, 4.9 is still pretty good because, you're dealing with the general public. Okay. Now, the highest prices are usually posted by Americans because we have a different economy than people from, Pakistan or other parts unknown in the world. So I like to give the work to fellow Americans if I can, But in the beginning, when I was on a really tight shoestring, I did use somebody, I don't know whether it was from Pakistan or some other country. I was very happy with the work that they did. But now I try to work with other Americans if I can. Now, also on this website, if you lean your mouse on these search results, you'll see that there is a portfolio that you can flip through. Okay, and this gives you an idea of the type of work that they are capable of. Okay, and so what you're going to do is first go to your genre, wherever you're going to publish, see what the other book covers look like, because that's crucial information. Pick about 3 or 4 that you really like the look of. Save those pictures, give them to whoever you're working with on Fiverr. Tell them this is your taste, you really like these covers, and whatever other information you want to give him or her. And they will make you, I'm sure, a beautiful book cover. Sorry about that. That was an alarm that went off. I had something in the oven. Anyway, so you go through all of these, artists, and you find somebody that you can have a book cover made with. So that's pretty much all you need to know about working with Fiverr. Now, one other thing that I used to do when my book was at the editor, I used to rewrite the first chapter to see if I could improve on the hook in the story, and often I would rewrite the last chapter to see if I could improve that. That was something that sort of kept me busy, because when you're waiting for your first or second or third book to come back from the editor, you're very excited about, launching the book. So the next order of business is to write a book description and blurbs. And when I was a new person, I took the time to write one, what I thought was really great book description. And when you're posting a book description to Amazon.com, it could be as long as you want. But when you have to post a description of the book on some other websites, you might be limited to 300 words or maybe 100 words. And to post an ad on Amazon to advertise your book, you're limited to, I think, like 25 words. So you're going to need more than one book description. So my advice is to start with what you would put on the back of your paperback book cover, and then little by little start whittling it down until you come down to, 1 or 2 sentence blurbs. And I know that a lot of authors are now using AI to help with this. I use bard.google.com, and Bard is wonderful with lots and lots of things, especially in terms of research. But rewriting descriptions, sometimes Bard gets A plus, and sometimes Bard gets D minus or F. So you have to work with the AI, but it is possible for you to work with the AI, and you might not use what the AI produces, but there might just be a turn of phrase that you decide, you know what, I really like that. So that's something else that you can do when you're writing your descriptions, because you will need a lot of them. Okay, now the next thing, when I was a beginner especially, I had to create a launch calendar, because if I have more than 2 irons in the fire, I get all turned around. So for me, I had to have everything written down on a calendar so that I knew what was coming up. So I always use a 2 month, either 1.5 months or 2 months from when I get the editor copy back before I plan to launch the book. And that is because I do an ARC reader campaign. ARC readers, for most people already who are authors, everybody knows it stands for Advanced Reader Copies. You give a free copy of your book, and you're hoping that these people are going to be willing to give you a review. Now, I use advanced feedback readers. And how that is different is I have a website and I put a questionnaire on the website. It's maybe about 10 or 15 questions about how they like the book or not. And there's no essay answers. It takes them less than 3 minutes to fill out. It just gives me an idea of, if they like the characters or if there was a character they didn't really care for, if they would be interested in reading the next book. So I get at least some feedback from the readers, which I find invaluable. It's just, wonderful to hear from the readers. And as a result of that, I offer these people who take the time to fill out my questionnaire a free copy of any of my other books. I have 12 books now. So most of my books are in Kindle Select. So if they fill out the questionnaire and tell me that they want another of my books that's in Kindle Select, I have to purchase it for them so that I can stay within the terms of service of Amazon, which I have no problem with. I limit their choice to an ebook that is $9.99 or less. And then I send it to them. I purchase it and I send it to them. And I'm happy to do that because getting feedback from the readers is just, it's absolutely wonderful because no one in my family reads the books. My brother read my books. Excuse me, my brother read my books and he gave me a lot of really good feedback. But the other people just act like, I'm just writing to no one. So it helps me to know whether I am writing to no one or whether the people are enjoying the books. So anyway, um, also during either the 2 months, or either the 2 weeks to a month that the editor has the book, or in the time that you're waiting for the advanced readers to download a copy of the book and also read the book, you can do early marketing research. And this is very important. You want to find books that are very similar to yours. Now, at one time in the world, you would go into a bookstore and maybe they had 20 categories and they would lump all the books into those 20 categories. But since Amazon created this print on demand and there's been an explosion in self-publishing books, there are now hundreds of categories to put your book in. And we are now limited to choosing only 3 categories. They used to allow us to put them in 10 categories, but recently Amazon changed it and you only get 3. So of course you want to be in the best 3 for your book. Okay, so that takes a lot of research if you're new because there are so many of these subcategories. For example, there's mystery books, but within mystery, they have noir, they have traditional detective, they have police procedures. It goes on and on. And so you want to find those 3 categories that best fit your book. Now, also, I like to make graphic panels, I call them, so that I can begin to post about this new book that's coming up to create as much of a, you know, splash as I can. Now, I'm new to social media. I've only been posting there regularly for probably 2 to 3 months, maybe 2.5 months. So I have, very few people that follow me. But anyway, you get good at things by continuing to do them. So I'm continuing to post on social media. So I want to announce that I'm looking for advanced readers. I want to announce that I have a book that's about to be released. You want to start posting things, so hopefully other people that would be interested in them will see them. Now, I have a website. That is readfirstchapter.com. It's about my books, and I write blog posts about marketing and learning how to use GIMP and Scrivener and all things that have to do with self-publishing. So anyway, I'm able to prepare a page to introduce the ebook. And then I add a description and a form asking for ARC readers. So the point of this section is there are several things that if you have a website, you will want to do regarding the website. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is the ARC Reader funnel. So let me just pause the video and get set up for that. Okay, here it is. I made this graphic to show you a bird's eye view of the advanced reader sign up pathway. Okay. And in the middle here in red, I have book funnel book download. Okay. And what that refers to is I upload my advanced reader copy to a website called bookfunnel.com. And I use that one link. And anybody that clicks on the link, they're taken to BookFunnel. They have to sign up with their first name and an email, and they get an automatic response with the book that they can read on their e-reader or in a PDF format, whatever. And BookFunnel takes care of all of that. And when I set it up, I select the choice to collect all of the names into a CSV list, which is another word for an Excel sheet. Okay, so as this book is generating advanced readers, it's compiling this list of names and emails that I'm going to be able to use to send a thank you email after the book is launched. And inside the thank you email, I'm going to include a request for them to leave me a review with a direct link to the review page. So this diagram shows how everything funnels into this. All of the things that I have on the website go to my book funnel list. People that sign up through the newsletter, the same thing. They go to the BookFunnel list, and also from social media. So BookFunnel is collecting from all of these various avenues. Okay. Now I made this for a beginner so that you can see by joining BookFunnel and setting this up for yourself, you too can collect, a whole list of people that are willing to read your book. Now, I must confess that because I have a website, I also have a separate form on the website. Because when people click on a link and they go to a website like BookFunnel, they might say, well, how do I know what this BookFunnel is? Some people don't think twice about it. They'll just download the link and go on with their lives. But some people get a little paranoid. So I have this list on this contact form on my website that they can fill out that comes directly to me. And they can see it going to rshannon@readfirstchapter.com. So as these emails come in, I put the first name and the email address on a list that I'm also compiling. So on the day that I download this CSV list, I add the other names that I collected myself from my website. And these are all of the readers that I'm going to contact to thank them and ask them for a review. So that's how this funnel works. Now, continuing back with our checklist, these lists are set up in different stages. This is 75 days before the book release. Okay, and this is, just telling me what needs to be done. Now, these lists came in very handy because when I started to write, I was still employed. I was doing websites and some other things. So I wasn't always, in the whole book state of mind. So I found that having everything laid out with these checklists, it was very helpful in balancing, my day job and then also, publishing a book. So you might find these tips helpful, or you might just choose to ignore them. But they're here in case you need them. Okay, so I tried to include also useful information for myself when I created this. Like here is a template for the ebook. Hopefully that's a still active link. Otherwise, I have other formatting videos that I teach you how to do the formatting for an ebook, a paperback, and a hardcover. Okay, and here are the other pages that you're going to need. I'm not going to go through this. I covered this in several other videos. Anyway, here is some information about uploading the books to ARC websites. Now, like I said earlier, I'm only using bookfunnel.com because I just find it very simple that way. But there was a time when I uploaded it to Goodreads and to Insta Freebies. I tried to pay for some ads on BookBub, but I never had any luck with them. You might have other luck. Some authors claim that BookBub is wonderful. I never had any luck with it. Let's see. They on Site Origin you can upload it. They have a free and a paid program. Same thing with bookroot.com. And also, Fussy Librarian is a website that you can pay for ads. You can pay to give away a book. But I believe that on Fussy Librarian, as well as Free Booksy, it has to be a book that is published. So those websites are not going to come into play until the book has actually been released. Okay, so I have a small list here of the graphics that you will need in order to take advantage of every single stage in the launch of a book. Because as a beginner, sometimes these events will just pass you by because you're not in tune with them yet. So the first one is to announce that there will be a new release coming, but your new book is at the editors. And some of the younger writers, you already have a huge social media following. So when you announce these things, you're going to make a big splash. Because I just started on social media about a month and a half, 2 months ago, whatever it was, I'm announcing to like nobody, to like, maybe 100 people. But, you got to start somewhere. Then the next one is some authors make a big to-do about announcing the name of the book. Okay, that's also optional. The request for the ARC readers. Now, I just want to say something about the graphics for your ARC readers and also for your newsletters. I used to make one graphic and just use it over and over and over again. But what I realized is that you don't want to bore your social media people and you don't want to bore your newsletter people. I find that if you have different graphics referring to the same thing, it's not boring to people that are seeing you trying to get ARC readers for the second or third time. Because remember, when you start looking for ARC readers, you're starting at 2 months before the book comes out. So you either have 8 newsletters or sometimes 16 if you send it out twice a week. So that's a lot of, the same graphic if you don't have a whole bunch of different graphics. So let me just pull up some different graphics to give you an idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's the book itself that is going to be released. And this is just sort of, the title of the book, the author, it's book 4, the name of the series, and then this is just a little blurb about what it's about and a picture of the cover. Now, the next one is slightly different, still shows the book cover, but it has another little sort of quote here. And here's a third one, just with a mysterious, some mysterious verbiage down here, and then a fourth one. So by having these, I can post 1 or 2 of them throughout the life of this launch. And this way, it's not going to bore as many of the readers. Now, 30 days before the launch, I will put the book up for pre-order on Amazon. And I think I have on occasion put it up, right after I started to look for the ARC readers. Because if people finish the 3 books in my series, they might automatically sign up for the 4th one. So it would be a missed opportunity if I didn't have it up on Amazon awaiting publication. So that's also something that I now do. Let's see. And then, of course, you can take a screenshot of the pre-order listing on Amazon and then make a social media graphic to post about that. Okay, and then we go into the launch day. So I always make sure that I launch on a Monday because that's the main day that I send my newsletter. I used to send 2 newsletters because I write in 2 separate genres, but right now I've kind of combined them and I'm only sending 1 a week. That may or may not change as I go forward. But anyway, I make sure it's on a Monday because that's when my newsletter is going to go out. And here I have a reminder to advertise on BookBub. But like I said, I never had any luck with them, so I wouldn't do that anymore. But I have had luck with Amazon ads. So what I do for the new launch is I make a separate ad for only that book. And I put a little bit more money. But I sort of add more money as I go along. Because in the first month, Amazon is going to decide where to rank the book. And a lot of it is going to be determined by how much traffic your book gets, how much, people are searching for it, and probably any number of other things. So I also have here in week 1 to send a gentle reminder to the ARC readers asking them for a review. Now, some of these reminders here have the names of some advertising websites that I did use. I had like a few people that either signed up or downloaded the book, but nothing that nothing to write home about. But I'm going to leave them there because you might be looking for something and you might have a different result. So as you can see, as the days go on, I add more money per day to try to get more traffic to the book. Then there's week 3 after the book is launched, the same thing, just trying to get more traffic to the book. Let's see here. Okay, and then somewhere in here, I do, right after the book launches, I have a giveaway with, actually, I put it into Kindle Select. And when you have your books in Kindle Select, you can give it away for free up to 5 days in a 3-month period of time. So what I do is I coordinate with Free Booksy and or Fussy Librarian. I pay for an ad. It's usually about $89 to $100 to have a giveaway with them. But I have had up to like 2,500 or 2,800 downloads with Free Booksy for a new release. So to me, it's worth it because you have all those people now reading the book, and hopefully they will fill out my questionnaire and leave me a review. Getting reviews is hard, especially when you're a new author. There's just no getting around it. Anyway, so I have week 2, week 3, week 4, um, and then it goes into Kindle Unlimited. And then at some point, it sort of goes into the rest of my advertising strategy. So I have strategies where I advertise my mystery books in one ad group, and then I have my vampire books in another ad group. That's information for another day. But anyway, that is the checklist. And I will have a link for this underneath the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them underneath and I can answer them as best I can. And if you learned anything or liked the video, I would ask you to please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next video.